Buenas tardes, buenas tardes, buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos a What's Up, Cuz. I am your host, Jason Palmer, junto con mi primo, Lance Irvin. Woohoo! I think I did it this week, Lance. I think I did
You know what? After a couple of months, you sound like you speaking Spanish fluently. You sound okay, but where's the translator, Sean? Hopefully, Sean is somewhere around. If he's not, we're going to wait till next week so Sean could tell us how you really sounded. Because he gave you a D- last week. No, matter of fact, he gave you a C-.
Hopefully, I got a B- this week, Lance. I'm trying to move up a full letter grade within 1 week.
You had a flaw, because we're going to have to ask you, is that an Indiana Pacers shirt you have on?
This is not an Indiana Pacers shirt. This is a Maple Crest Country Club golf shirt I am wearing today because it was 73 degrees and I went golfing.
You know what? Why you didn't call your cousin? I could have took off work and came and went golfing. I like to golf, even though I haven't golfed in about 7 years, but I have a brand new driver that my man Arnold Ross gave me in Carbondale. Brand new driver. The last and one of the few times I hit with that thing, Jay, that ball's still traveling.
Really?
Ball's still going. Oh, my goodness. He gave me a nice one, too. So this year, I'm getting back out on the course.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Are you a member of that country club?
I am not a member. I just play there because, frankly, they're cheap. You can play 18 holes for about $25, and that ain't easy to come by in the golf world.
Do you get a cart with that, too?
That is with the cart.
Oh. You can't beat that.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Beat that.
Not bad at all. Now, today I golfed for $17 for 18 holes. Of course, I paid for 9, but nobody was out there, so I just...
You don't need to tell them your trick. They might be looking out for you next time.
I wasn't at Maple Crest today when I did that.
But it was a nice day, though. I mean...
Yes, it was.
Rumor has it that... Did you officiate somewhere last weekend? I mean, I don't know. Just rumor has it.
I did. I had the honor of calling the Chicago Public League volleyball championship match between Whitney Young and Jones College Prep. Whitney Young did win. They are the city champions. So congratulations to the Lady Dolphins volleyball team. They were very good last week, and they defeated Jones College Prep. And the state playoffs are starting as we speak, actually. Regional start today. And you were busy as well because what was going on in the high school football world?
High school football, it was Simeon's homecoming, but Simeon also finished the season at 9-0, either 8-0 or 9-0.
Okay.
They're currently in the top 10 in the state. They have a really good team. They have a wide receiver, Elsie. Elsie going to Cincinnati. He's really, really good, Jay. And Andrew Cruz, the running back, he's like a joystick on the football field.
A joystick on the
joystick, Jay. That young fella could get in and out, and he could see the whole field quick and fast. And when he sees a hole, he's like, gone. And once he gets to the edges, you can't catch him. You cannot catch him. So with that being said, those two should probably be on all state. IHSA football playoffs are starting this week also.
Yep.
So it's going to be a busy week in the Chicagoland area.
Yes, it is.
And Jay, and how your Blackhawks doing, man? But I'm gonna hold on for that.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that in a minute. We gotta welcome the people in. We gotta finish welcoming the people in. So, once again, welcome everyone. If this is your first time watching What's Up, Cuz, we appreciate you for tuning in. For those of you watching us on the Facebook Live link, go ahead and send us your comments and questions. Guy Armando did. He already welcomed, told us good evening. Buenas noches to you too, Armando. If you're watching us on the Sports Zone Chicago YouTube channel, go ahead and like and subscribe to that channel. It'll give you access to all the wonderful shows we have here on Sports Zone Chicago. If you're watching us on the new Roku channel, the Sports Zone Chicago Roku channel, we appreciate you for tuning in wherever you are in the world on Roku. And finally, if you're watching us on the Sports Zone Chicago app, the Sports Zone Chicago app, you can tune in there and keep us with you on the go in the car while you're at work, whatever the heck you're doing. If your kid's soccer game and you know they can't play and you're watching us, we appreciate that too. And if you do not have the Sports Zone Chicago app, mi primo, Lanza say Irvin is going to tell you where you can get it.
You know what? You're going to have to teach me how to say that in Spanish. To be official on the show. How do I say iTunes in Spanish? How do I say that? Amazon store. You got to know that.
Amazon store. Those are companies. Like
Google. How do you say Google Play Store? I mean, how do you say that?
If you want to say store, it's Tienda.
Tienda. So how do I say Amazon? Amazon store.
Tienda, I guess. I mean, it's just the Amazon store. I'm not going to change Amazon's name.
How do we say iTunes in Spanish?
iTunes. I just told you that.
Oh, I thought you was joking because, you started laughing and I didn't know if you knew the meaning of that.
Jesus.
So, but you get the point. You get the point. Stop trying to turn. You know what? We need to let you do this in Spanish so we can attract more viewers. So stop talking. You going to do it in Spanish. I'm going to do it in English.
I don't think that would attract more viewers if I start.
Oh, my goodness.
But please, go ahead and tell the people in English where they can get the app.
You can get the app at the Google Play Store,
yes,
the Amazon Store, and the iTunes Store. Everybody got that. And follow me on my social media platforms because I have more followers than Jason. Go to Let's See Irvin at Twitter or Facebook. Why are you laughing, cuz?
It is true.
But everybody, thanks for watching us. I mean, cuz, what's up with sports this weekend? It was a busy week for both of us, but watching some of the stuff that happened in sports is just, I don't know. I got to get your take on the New York Yankees, though, bowing out to the Astros like that, Jay. I'm still shaking my head.
Oh, that was a good one. So, let's talk about that. And remind everyone, we are on for just an hour today because the Bears are taking on the New England Patriots on Monday Night Football. So we are here until just 7 o'clock tonight. And let's start with baseball. Because the World Series is set, Lance. The World Series is set. You will have the Houston Astros. I'm going to call them by their proper name and not what we really call them. The Houston Astros, who will be representing the American League, who will be taking on the champions from the National League, the team that fired their manager in the middle of the season like the White Sox should have done, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Jay, you know what? How about that, though?
Yeah.
You fire your manager in the middle of the season and you make the World Series. So, number one, what does that say about the owner's leadership skill? Because I'm saying organizational leadership. Mm-hmm. Did the owner see something soon enough where he says, you know what, I'm about to make a change right now, and who do I put in the position? So it's obvious he did a good job evaluating who needed to be in a position, right? Because how often do you see that happen, Jay? When you fire your manager, you put somebody else in there, and you go to the World Series or in any professional sport league. That doesn't happen too often. So, shout out, Jay. That was Yeah.
it doesn't happen very often. The last time I can remember it happening in baseball was in Florida with the Marlins when
Mm-hmm.
they brought in Joe McKeon. When they brought in McKeon, and then that team ended up going all the way. And I think at the time McKeon was almost like 80 years old when they brought him in, and he took that team and he took them all the way to the World Series, and they won. But the Phillies, that's them celebrating. They are going to the World Series. Bryce Harper, Jack McKeon. I'm sorry, Jack McKeon. That is
Mm-hmm.
a huge home run by the guy the White Sox should have also tried to get, Bryce Harper. A huge clutch 2-run home run yesterday in the 8th inning to launch the Phillies into the World Series after they defeated the Padres 3-1. And I'm going to tell you, Lance, the Phillies is a team that I'm pulling for.
Why is
I'm
that?
pulling for them. I like what they did. I like that they were aggressive. I like what they said. Joe Girardi is a World Series manager, but for whatever reason, it wasn't working in Philadelphia. And I think that's why you got to give them even bigger credit, because they had the stones to fire a World Series manager who they paid a lot of money to, because they said, you know what, this ain't working, partner. Something ain't going right here. They got rid of him. They bring in a new manager. The team takes off. They end up catching the Mets in the regular season. And now they're headed to the World Series. That's just absolutely incredible. And that team came together basically after the manager was canned.
You know what? In coaching, sometimes the guys do need a different voice. And
Mm-hmm.
often people say when you go up in your levels of play, sometimes that voice can be one of reason. Sometimes that voice could be one that brings a little bit more discipline to the team. Now, but whatever was done helped elevate the team to a new level. And you and I both know how much money can be made, number one, going to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, if you win the World Series. So the money they had to pay off their manager, if you win it, it seems like peanuts, especially
Mm.
these days, right? So shout out for that move. Now, we're not blaming the managers because sometimes you and I know, Jay, players have to step up. For example, Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper is probably making, like last time I checked, he was making over like his total deal, I want to say was like 300 something million, some crazy number that he signed for. And he showed you why he was worth every penny when he blasted, when he blasted one to get them over the hump. And that's what players have to do, Jay. Like I expect when you making as much money as he's making,
Mm-hmm.
I expect for you to deliver in crunch time. And he delivered in crunch time. So now let's see if they can win the World Series. But I have to pick the Astros, and you know why I'm picking
I
the
don't.
Astros.
I got the feeling you rolling with my other cousin.
I gotta roll with Dusty. Dusty, see, don't you want Dusty to finally win? See, who's that? Lisa Carol Foster. You and I on the same page. That's why I'm fooling with you. My man, who I have to get on the show, Jason. We have to get Ernest Ratcliffe,
Yes.
aka Dusty Baker, Morgan Park High School. He coached the baseball team in Morgan Park. He talks football. Him and I were talking about the series, the Yankee series on Friday night.
Okay.
He said, Lance, the series is over. I said, what? I said, time out, time out, time out, time out. It was Thursday, Friday, Jay. I said, it's just two zip. And one of the days I saw him last week, he said, I'm telling you, this series is over. They're not coming back. I said, what do you mean by that, Dusty Baker? He said, no, the Yankees was off their stride. He didn't think their pitching was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he said they're not hitting at the clip they were hitting during the regular season. So shout out to Ratcliffe, Coach Ratcliffe, excuse me. But the Yankees had some big bats, Jay, and they never were able, seemingly, to come through when we need them to come through. And Jay, we want Dusty to win, but unlike my cousin Jason, tell us why you don't want Dusty to win, or you just taking the best ball club.
Well, Gia said, well, I don't know what Gia's saying. She says, I can't Dusty to win. I think she says, I want Dusty to win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, retype it, Gia. We don't know what you're saying. I hate the Astros. It's that simple. I hate the cheating Astros. I
I
ain't
was
going no damn
come
Astros.
out, come out, come out, come out, come out, come out.
And no, Dusty
So
was there when it happened. I agree.
come on,
But Altuve is still there.
talk to me.
Bergman is still there. They never took away that championship, and that's MLB's fault. But I can't I can't go with them. Okay, Gia, she's put the drink down. Because I want Dusty to
You my
win.
buddy. You a mess. But Jay, when the New England Patriots had the deflate gate or whatever, I didn't
Yeah.
hear you putting them down. And see, Bob Alford. See, I mean, did they get caught? Were there are they guilty? I mean, who said they was guilty?
What does
Like,
Bob Baffert have to do with this?
cause you know how I feel about stuff like that. Sometimes, sometimes stuff just happens, right? So don't penalize the Astros and Dusty. I knew you were gonna say that when you started talking. Like, do you think Dusty deserves to win? How many more World Series does he have in him? For you? And I understand what you're saying.
I like Dusty. Don't get me wrong. You know I love Dusty.
Exactly. Come on.
It's a brother who been in MLB for 50 years as a player, as a manager. He's a good coach. He's taken teams to the World Series. He's never been able to get over that hump. Yes, I would like for him to win one. I just don't want it to be with the Astros. I'm sorry. I just don't like the Houston Astros. And I will probably get past it once everyone who was associated with that team is no longer on that team. I'll feel better about it. But for now, I can't do the Astros, man. And I think the Philadelphia story is a better story.
Why is that?
Because it's they came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting them to do this. They did it. That's why I'm rolling with them. I want to see, and I like Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia and Chicago are very, very similar. Very similar in terms of our musical cultures, the fans' attitude towards stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're bigger a-holes than Chicago people would ever be, but they support their team. They know their sports. I like Philly. I love Philly food. I love the Philadelphia music scene. I love the black culture in Philly. It's very similar to Chicago. So I identify with them.
You know, the one thing about the Philly fans is this: they love grit and grind, like we say. They love people that's hard nosed, and I'm not just talking about Rocky. They like their teams to play hard, like Villanova in basketball. They love Villanova because they played hard. The Phillies, even when Andy Reid was, the Philadelphia Eagles, even when Andy Reid was there, they played hard. And we don't need to talk about the answer when Allen Iverson was there, because Allen Iverson, if you recall, Jay, he didn't play with too many quote unquote superstars.
No.
He played with some hard nosed guys that bought it every day. So similar to like Chicago area, most of our fans like teams that play hard, teams that compete at a high level and not gonna give up on you. That's why last year when y'all was talking about, I think it was the Bears we was talking about or somebody, it wasn't the Bears, but one of the teams, how you said they wasn't playing hard. It was the Sox y'all kept talking about. You said they not competing, they not doing what they supposed to do. So we just want people to play hard. But that's why Philly, I agree with you. Like Jay, they town goes bananas over their sports.
Yes, they do. And here's another one reason why I want Philly to win. My guy Gritty. Gritty is the most popular mascot in all of sports now. He's been on Abbott Elementary. His name is Gritty, for the love of God. He represents the culture of Philadelphia. That's why I want Philadelphia to win. So go Phillies.
Jay, he was on Abbott Elementary?
Yes, he was.
Oh,
He
your
was
cousin Paula loves that show. I watched
sure
it a
she
couple
does.
of times. Shout out. That's not a bad show. But Jay, how many games you taking the Phillies in though?
Ooh,
Talk
Houston
to
is
me.
a good team now.
Talk to me.
Team. Dusty's a hell of a manager. Who got the home field advantage in this, Sean? Is it Houston? I think Houston got the. It's got to be Houston, right? They got the best. American League won the All-Star game, and Houston should be. I think it's at. I think this is the home team. I'm going to say. I'm going to go with Philly in. I'm going to go with Philly in I'll go with Philly in 6.
Now you do realize that Houston swept the potent New York Yankees in their high-powered offense. So you do
I
understand that,
do
though.
understand that. I do
Okay, I'm
understand
making
that.
sure you
But I
understand.
also agree with Coach Ratcliffe and my boy Charles Johnson, who's a big time Yankees fan. Yankees didn't have no pitcher, man. And what do you and I always say on this show? If you want to win a world championship, what do you need?
Got that pitching.
You got to have pitching. You got to have pitching
Yeah.
and defense, man.
You do. If you don't, you in trouble, Jay. And I'm always talking about. I love offense too, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to get some strikes. You got to be able to get people out. They have to be sitting down. And if you can't pitch, Jay, shame on you and your managers, because somebody's gonna be out of a job soon.
Yep.
So
I agree. I agree. And so Gia asked, are they the first professional team to cheat? No. They're not. You're right. And she says, what about the Patriots and the Saints? Yeah, they got busted. But you know what? I think, first of all, I think Deflategate was funny. I think that was funny. Like, if you're going to cheat, they did some crazy stuff. Okay, let's mess with the ball. Houston was sending smoke signals or banging on drums, sound signals to cheat. It was just the way they went about it, and I could not.
Because here go my thing. Here go my thing about that. Cause even though you send the smoke signals, you could know a pitch is coming,
true,
and still not hit it. That's like in football or in basketball. You can scout it. Hey, they run a double drag, or hey, the wide receiver running a slant. You can still know it's coming and don't stop it. Now, I'm not condoning cheating. Sometimes you and I laugh and joke about it. But I do know there's gray areas in every sport, and some teams do a little more than others.
I don't know, man. Oh, okay, we got the breakdown. So the breakdown is games 1 and 2 are in Houston's, 3, 4, and 5 in Philly, 6 and 7 will be back in Houston. So Houston does have the home field advantage for the series. Yeah, I'm gonna still go with Philly in 6. Armando agrees with me. Armando's gonna go with Philly as well. If you all have a pick, go ahead and put it in there. But the World Series getting ready to kick off here in late October. So by November, we'll know who the champion is, which is something else I have a beef with baseball, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Let me ask you this before you touch on that. Do you like the 2-3-2 format in these sports like they do in baseball, basketball?
Yes. I don't like the 2-2-1-1-1.
I didn't like that.
You like that form better?
Yeah, I like the 2-3-2 because it cuts down on some of the travel and stuff.
There you go. That's my reasons. Yeah.
Also, it puts pressure on the home team. You have to get one. Then next, you got 3 at home. It put pressure on you. You better get 2, or you're done. You're done. Now LeBron and them was freaks of nature in some of the stuff that they did, but I just like because it cuts down on travel and it takes away the excuses. Jay, we had to fly cross country. Our legs got tired. You flying charter anyway. You done played 90-something games. I don't want to hear that. You up in front. You got a whole recliner seat to yourself. You eating caviar. You playing cards. You watching movies. I don't want to hear that. Some of these plays nicer. Some of these plays nicer. They rooms they seats in the plane nicer than the ones they have at home. Come on, huh?
I agree.
But let's see. Let's go get it. I can't wait.
All right. Guess what else has happened? The NBA season kicked off, and our Chicago Bulls, the team who I picked to finish 3rd in the Eastern Conference, has already lost 2 games last Irvin.
You go listen to your cousin.
Including getting blown out at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Bulls are 1-2 on the season after a big opening season win in Miami. They then fall to the team in Washington
Wizards. Mm-hmm.
And then they got their butts crushed at home by Cleveland, and I was completely stunned by that.
What? Jay, I told you, I said, happy for IO, like the Bulls, but I told you a couple of weeks ago, The best I see them coming is in fifth or sixth, more sixth than fifth. And I saw some of the Cleveland game. I watched it, then I turned it because I said they're not coming back against Cleveland
They did.
because Cleveland has they weren't coming back. Cleveland has size. They have Mobley, Allen. They have Garland is one of the best point guards I've seen play. Garland is so quick and shifty and create, can pass, he can score it. He's a complete player at the point guard spot. And Donovan Mitchell, that's a bucket waiting to happen. And I think the Bulls, they beat the Miami Heat early on. They played well that game. They got Zach back because Zach didn't play the first game. And I think one thing that's hurt them, Jay, they need a little bit more scoring off the bench. I was hoping Kobe White can be the guy off the bench that'll get you like 15 or 18, somebody off the bench, I think. And I think they really doesn't have that just yet, but it's a long season and time will come. And they're missing our guy. They're missing Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I like his size, Jay. I told you when they got him. I said, look, Lonzo is about 6'6", maybe closer to 6'7" than he is 6'6". He could defend. He's a better three-point shooter than people thought, and he can run the team. And I think the chemistry was pretty good when he was in there.
Vernon going in on your boy, Lance. Vernon going in on your boy.
Well, let's say this, Jay. This is Patrick Williams' third year, if I'm not mistaken. How long I'm not saying he's this type player, Jay, but how many years did it take Scottie Pippen to come around? If I'm not mistaken, about 4 years. Sometimes if they give you an opportunity and they let you let you stay on the team and you develop, sometimes it takes you 4. And Patrick Williams was out last year a lot of time with the injury. So now let's give him, Jay, 35, 40 games, and let's see what he does. But the key is some more bench scoring. At least they got Andre Drummond and Vuk. At least Andre Drummond gives them some more height with Tony Bradley, though. But I know one thing, Jay. They got a guaranteed bucket getter on that team. DeMar DeRozan is not playing with it. He can flat out score. And I'm going to pivot, but I'm coming right back. Think if the Lakers would have had him, because the Lakers stink. The Lakers had a chance to get him and Buddy Hield. You passed on him and Buddy Hield for Russell Westbrook. And they stink. I watched the Lakers play twice, Jay. I refuse to watch them for the rest of the year. They can't shoot. Jay, I sound like everybody else, Jay, but I'm watching them like they can't. They're like 2 for 90 shooting from the three-point line.
Our guy, Montel Griffin, Champ. Oh, my God. Champ been going in.
What did Champ say?
He was like, this team is terrible. What? You should be fired, the general manager. LeBron is right. Can't nobody shoot.
Time out. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Most of those players on the team, LeBron signed off on now. LeBron stopped the Buddy Hield and DeMar trade. He wanted Russ. That's LeBron now. So we can't exclude LeBron from some of that now. If they would have been cash strapped, and also, who did they get rid of? Kuzma was a good shooter. KCP was a good shooter. They just won. They unloaded the youth that they had on that team. And now you see what they got. Jay, they got rid of guys who can make a jump shot past 12 feet.
I didn't even know they changed the name of the stadium, Vernon. Thank you. But yes, they need shooters bad. I think we all are seeing that.
I didn't mean to pivot. Go ahead.
Because I love LeBron. I love LeBron as a human being. He get on my nerve as a damn basketball player. Love the guy as a human being. Basketball player get on my damn nerve. And he wanted to be the GM. He wanted to be okay. You want to do this like it's street ball and pick your own squad? Fine. Look what you got, LeBron. Plus, everybody tired of him running around just trying to stack his teams and then try to be in the same conversation as the greatest of all time.
See, because, Jay, one thing, LeBron is smart. LeBron going to hit you with some stuff. He going to say it. He's going to say it in a roundabout way. And if you really listening to him, he going to throw a dag in there. Like they asked him a question about Russell Westbrook. They didn't mention Russell's name. Russell took his shot. I think it was like he went for a 2-for-1, which I don't know. I wouldn't have shot it. He missed it. So the guys, Jay, so the reporter asked him, like, that 2-for-1, was it a good idea? And LeBron hit him with, no, I'm saying you guys have an issue with Russ or something like that. He just could ask the question. No, it wasn't a good 2-for-1. He didn't have to say, I feel like y'all trying to get me to say something about Russ. He could have asked the question that way too, Jay.
He could have.
He could have, but he didn't. We got different personalities, and I'm just saying he could have said, no, it was a bad play. Like he cracked on him about the shooters. Come on, man. LeBron very smart.
Yeah, I agree with you. Back to the Bulls, though, real quick.
Back to the Bulls, yeah.
There's been a question, and the question is about this guy. Zach LaVine, our franchise player. And you and Sean and I had long debates about this last spring and in the summer of, is this guy a max contract guy? Is he your franchise guy? I think we kind of came to a consensus that you had to pay him, but we didn't necessarily know if he was a max franchise guy. I thought you had to pay him because you've had a reputation of not paying people. And if you want to attract more quality free agents in the future, you have to give this guy a max contract. But I personally don't see Zach LaVine as a max contract player because he doesn't play defense. That was my whole basis on it. But now he's not playing because of this knee injury thing. And everybody's like, wait a minute. You wasn't there the first game of the year, which is the only game we won, by the way. You wasn't there, and you the max contract guy. We're monitoring your knee. It's almost like it's a game-to-game situation, or if Zach is going to play, and we just paid him $200 and something million. I want you to comment on that situation because that's what everybody's talking about right now with the Bulls.
Like we talked about last year, Jay. We wasn't sure if Zach was a max player, right? I think, like you said, you, myself, Sean, we all were on the fence about him. And we all did say they had to pay Zach because who else were you going to get at that spot that was a free agent? And like you said, though, you had to pay somebody. And Zach and DeMar, they're a good 1-2 punch. I think, first of all, DeMar, the way he's playing right now, he's a franchise player. I don't know if you agree or disagree. Zach is a good number 2. I don't think Zach is a bad player. I think Zach can score. I think his defense got better over time last year because he came off from playing. I think, was it the Olympics last year, Jay, the World Games he played in? Yep. So people was critical on his defense, and he got better. But the season is just starting. They had to pay him because who else were you going to get in the free agent market at that position? You weren't going to get Bradley Beal. So with that being said, I think he's probably I need to do some research on this because, I'm a research guy. I'm going to let y'all know next week, is he a top 10 player at his position?
Ooh.
So I'm going to do some research. If he is top 10 in his position, Jay, because Zach probably is a 2 guard. Would you agree he plays the 2 or the 3?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Is he top 10 at that position? You see, I just said Bradley Beal up there. Devin Booker is in that position too. Donovan Mitchell is in that position too. I just named off 3 guys right there, Jay. Some would say Jaylen Brown from Boston is in that position too. So had to pay somebody. I
think that's the quote of the night right there. Zach LaVine, you had to pay somebody. That's what we go.
They did. They were in the trick bag. They had to. If you lose Zach, cuz, and don't get nothing in return, you screwed. You
had to pay somebody. Okay. Oh, Lord. Wow. Welcome to the Chicago Bulls. You had to pay somebody. That should be the thing.
Zach got the bag. But we'll see next week, y'all. Tune in next week. I'm going to give you Lance Irvin's top 10 two-guard spots in the position that Zach plays.
See,
That's him.
I'm with Vernon. Vernon said, pay me. I'll be a camp. I'm with you. I'm with you, Vernon.
Had to pay somebody.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Had to pay.
You know what my biggest fear is? And I'm
What's
going to say this. Because I also don't think the Bulls addressed the need that we saw was glaring. I don't think they fully addressed the need of needing that rim protector and someone who can consistently score down low, which you've been talking about for the past 2 years. And my biggest fear is that the Bulls are going to do the same thing the White Sox just did because you didn't address the glaring need in the offseason. It's going to now affect you into this season. And I have a big fear that this thing could fall apart big time because it's too often Billy Donovan's got that 3-guard offense out there. But when they got to play some defense, people just banging us. Or if our outside shots ain't falling, we ain't got nobody to get the ball down to. I'm really afraid of that, Lance. And it's the Barry Reinsdorf home team. So,
hey, Jay, I'm coming back next week. We always said they need somebody to protect the basket. Most teams, like Phoenix, has Aiden. The Bucks has Giannis. But in the sport news, Jay, ranking the NBA shooting guards, and I'm going to come up with my own list, they ranked 30. What position you think they put Zach in?
I'm going to go with 12.
No.
Where?
Give you one more guess.
13? He's got to be around.
3.
They put Zach in 3?
They put him at 3.
He's not a 3.
They put him at 3.
He's not 3.
They put him ahead of Anthony Edwards.
He like 3. He getting paid like 3, but he ain't 3.
I'm going to go over my top 10 list next week, Jay. They put him at 3. So now, this is the sport news, Jay. If you the number 3, if you the third best point guard in the NBA, you have to get the bag. They had no choice but to pay you.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They had to pay somebody, but this is a mess because Zach ain't no 3. But anyway, all right. So we'll keep an eye on the Bulls. Stay tuned for Lance's list at our next episode. I'm looking forward to that myself. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the team that we just knew wasn't going to win Jack, who are now got 3 victories in their 5 games. Our Chicago Blackhawks are 3-2. And they've just been coming from behind in these last few games. They go down 2 goals. They come back. They tie it up. The other team come back, take the lead. And then yesterday's game against the Seattle Kraken, they scored 2 goals in 13 seconds in the third period. Lance Irvin and got the win. The Blackhawks, who I only predicted was going to win 30 games all year last week, have now won 10% of that number, which is Trey's 3. They've got 3 wins on the season already.
See, you tried to get me in the trick bag. I specifically asked you, what can we expect from your Blackhawks? And you said something like SH boop, boop, boop. So with that being said, is it the coaching? Is it the teams we played so far? Because I take 3-2 versus the Bulls 1-2, Jay. So do you think, because you know how sometimes you could jump out the gate, then you come back to your natural self. Are they going to come back to their natural self? Or are they better than you anticipated?
Well, I think they're going to come back to their natural self. I think they have to, because I think the plan is to trade Taves and Kane before the trade deadline. And it's kind of hard to do that if they're actually winning games. So I think they're going to come back to themselves. I think they're off to a good start. I think Coach Luka Richardson is making a difference. And I say this, I know you don't watch a lot of the technical aspects of hockey. What I will say is that they're playing within a system now that seems to work for them. They also seem like they want to be there, which under Jeremy Colleton, we could tell they were like, this fool don't know what the hell he doing, what he got us out here doing. and they're playing hard. I think they have a nice mixture of veterans, and they got a nice mixture of new guys with talent who are hungry. And I think that is the key. I love the Richardson kid. I love what Tyler Johnson is doing, who they got in a trade last year. I love the veteran leadership that Jack Johnson has provided on the blue line. And Kane and Taves are going to be Kane and Taves. Taves seems a little rejuvenated. Um, it was good to see. It was good to see. Again, I don't think they're going to sustain this, but at least I can enjoy watching the game, even if they're not going to win at a high rate. At least they look like they know what they're doing and that they want to be there. And that's all I'm asking for when you're in the middle of a rebuild. Just show me something. Go out there and play with heart. Go out there and play like a professional. And then, let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's what they've done through these first 5 games. And, Sean was talking on his show this morning, Blackhawks. And I said it here last week as well. If you've never been to a hockey game, this is a season to go because the ticket's gonna be cheap.
But Jay, if you were the GM,
yes,
would you trade Taze and Kane? Because it seems like, listening to you, when it's a good mixture of youth and old, if you could keep them together for an extended period of time, let's give them maybe 2 years. Would you keep them together for at least 2 years to help the young team, help the young guys get better? Then I might move them then, versus kind of like what you said. Like, and I hate to use the tanking stuff. I hate seeing that because I always think that players really want to win, and I think the coaches want to win. Now, you and I both, though, you could get a signal from the front office saying, he needs to be hurt a little bit longer. Let's trade him so we won't win. So I'm not saying they're going to do that, but if you were the GM, what would you do?
Emotionally, I'm connected to Taves and Kane, and I want to see them retire as Blackhawks. I want to see them retire as Blackhawks for what they've done for the fan base, what they've done for hockey in Chicago. The Blackhawks, as we near the trade deadline, are a playoff team. I'm keeping them. Or if we're in the hunt, let's say we're only 2 points out of the last playoff spot, or 3 points, or 4 points, I'm not trading them. And the reason why, because in hockey, it's about the playoffs, man. It don't matter what the record is in the regular season. We see the 8 seed upseed the 1 seed on the regular in hockey. So if they can make the playoffs, I'm keeping them. If it's no way in hell we're going to make the playoffs and the team is just looking bad, then I got to move them because I got to try to get pieces because I am in a rebuild. But if this team continues to play well and they're going to the playoffs, I'm keeping Taves and Kane, who both of their contracts expire at the end of the season, and I know they can walk. Excuse me. They can walk. I'm still keeping them.
Who, that's tough decision for upper management, cuz. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of like you. See, I like seeing our veterans or the older guys stay where they started their career and where they was instrumental in the city and the franchise winning championships. But I do understand if you could get a little bit for guys, you have to move them. But I'm also saying, like Golden State in basketball, they got some youth with the old. Now it's a good mixture. And I probably would sit there, but you know more about hockey than I do. So that's why I was curious to see what you was going to say about, would you move them, would you keep them?
It's if I'm going to the playoffs, I'm keeping them, and I'm just going to roll with them and see what we can do. And also, I think there's a part of this. I don't think they actually want to leave Chicago. I actually don't think they. I think if they're going to the playoffs, I don't think Taves and Kane will want to go.
But Jay, why would you, if you basically have a family, you raise your family here, you like the town, and you playing well.
Yes.
You don't want to uproot your family unless you go into LA where it's hot, like everybody else does.
Just like I got an emotional tie to them, they got an emotional tie to the city.
Good point. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
We'll see. we'll see. We'll just see how well they can keep this going. Talk to me in like maybe
A month.
late December,
This
late December, January.
December.
We'll have an idea by then how this team really is.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see if they can keep up the consistency. But hey, let's change gears real quick before we talk to Bears because I want to bring up something to talk about.
What's
Now, this
this?
in relation to the Bulls
Oh
and the
Lord.
Blackhawks, but I want to talk about the old Chicago Stadium. And I want to talk about the old Chicago Stadium because our producer Sean was an usher there back in the day.
Was
He was an usher. He was one of the Andy Frame people, ushering people around. And the old Chicago Stadium, he talked about this more on our show, and it brought up such fond memories for me. And you've been to the old Chicago Stadium. My cousin Lisa, she's been to the old Chicago Stadium. Give me your best memory on the old Chicago Stadium, Lance Irvin.
Well, I went to Triton College for a year after I got hurt at Colorado State. So I went to Triton. So myself and some of the guys, right, we used to not sneak. We used to go to the back door on the stadium and tell us we did this for a full year. We got in about 10 games. A coach left us some tickets. He would say, okay, come on in. Packed house now. One day we did it. I said, now look, y'all know this is going to be a sellout crowd. There's no way we get in. It used to always be a sellout, but this game it was Dominique was playing Mike. I said,
Uh-oh.
brother, I said, there's no way in the hell, excuse my language, they're going to fall for that tonight. Well, they fell for it. That's the night I think Mike had about 46 and Dominique had about 42. They was going back and forth, Jay. We literally was sitting in the mid-level. Like first we walked in, was standing around, somebody didn't show up. AJ, I wouldn't have stepped, man. We got in there about 10 times, but that Dominique and Mike battle that night was one of the best battles I watched for free. Back then, coach
Wow.
left some tickets and we just kept walking.
Now that is a story. You got to see
Head
Jordan and Nick go head to head at the old
to
stadium
head,
for free.
head to head, Jay, for free. And
Wow.
Dominique, because I remember Dominique took off. He took on a break because Mike took off and just jammed one. Dominique came back and did a windmill, almost tore the rim off the back. Ooh, I was like, they going back and forth. Jordan hit one, here come Nick. Jordan hit one, here come Nick right back. And you could tell they was kind of they was chirping a little bit too. I was like, ooh, it's on up in here tonight.
Oh, that's a good memory. Now, my favorite memory
What's yours, cuz?
of the old Chicago Stadium happened back in the late 70s. I was at a Bulls game with my Uncle Chuck, my mom, my cousin Lisa, and me. This was when they had Reggie Theus and
Butterbean
Artis
Love.
Gilmore. This is Artis Gilmore, Reggie Theus, that era. And Reggie Theus was Lisa's favorite player. And we went to the game, and I was kind of into the game. But the
Mhm.
best part about it, and people who are going to trip when I tell them this, the best part of it was after the game, they used to have full concerts. After
Did
some
they?
Bulls game back in the day, when they
Uh-huh.
wasn't drawing nobody, it was like in the 70s. I got to see the Spinners.
You joking, right?
I'm
You
dead serious, man.
you joking.
I'm dead serious because they wasn't really drawing like that. It was Reggie Theus and Artis Gilmore, motherfucker, guy. And we got crushed by somebody like the Celtics. But they were like, fans, stay tuned. Coming up after tonight's game. I'm like, ooh, that's a good group.
Jay, so did they cover the floor? They just put stuff a tarp on top of the floor and the Spinners
No, they came out. They put like a little mini stage over the hardwood floor, and the Spinners performed for like 45 minutes.
Jay, I did not know they used to do that.
Yes.
And I'm a historian when it comes
Yes.
to basketball.
Yes, ask anybody. This was back when before the NBA got popular, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
But like in the 70s, the NBA was still a kind of a young league. They were only some odd years old then. Yeah. I got to see the Spinners, dog.
So was Norm Van Leer on the team with Bob Love or Norm and
I
Bob
know.
was gone?
I think this is the generation after them.
So
This
you
is
had
Reggie Theus,
A-Train, Reggie.
Artis Gilmore, what's the other dude?
Sedale 3 was Sedale 3 on
No, the other dude, the guard, the other dude. Oh, what's the dude? Oh, they had a white guy running point. I can't remember his name, but it was kind of that era, man. It was a bad Bulls team, trust me. That's why they had the spinners there.
Dang. So was the Big O on the team? The Big O wasn't on the team?
He wasn't there yet.
Wasn't
there yet. This like right before that. It's like an era right in between there, like in the late 70s, before they drafted Jordan and you had Paxson and Woolridge. Yeah. It was like right before them when they were really bad.
Man. The Spinners. Jay, did the Spinners put on a heck of a concert?
Of course they did. Shoot. Yeah, I think people can't see the damn Spinners, to be honest. They're like, I'm going to the gang. I want to see the Spinners.
What you say, Jay? Up next, the Spinners. We have a special treat.
Yes. So the old Chicago Stadium, that's it. For those of you who do not remember it or who are not around, that place was rocking. But here's one thing I don't miss with it, and I agree with Gia Warren on this one. Them damn stairs. Lord have mercy.
Ooh, Jay. The stairs, that was a hot mess, boy. Dang, that bring back memories, cuz. Ooh, what did they used to call it? The Madhouse on Madison?
The Madhouse
that place,
Madison, baby.
That place was rocking, Jay. I tell you this, boy. Ooh, hey, Jay. That was long before, you couldn't pull a bus in there like they do now. Now the stadium's so nice, Jay. They pulled a bus in there, let people out underground in certain stadiums. Now, they weren't AJ, you couldn't park your car up in the stadium like that. No. You was in a foot of snow like everybody else.
There. Sean, if you can't jump on, tell us a little bit about the old stadium. You were there. You know what it was like.
Sean was eating the peanuts, dropping the peanut shells all on the floor. Those were some good peanuts those days too.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it was crazy. So I was fortunate due to my St. Rita connections. My high school teacher, my high school history teacher he ran Sox Park for Andy Frayne. So we always had, recruiting, just recruiters there. And so I started working at the stadium, and within 3 months, I was in the second balcony. Remember, there was no escalators, no elevators. You had to walk all the way up. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about it this morning, and Jay was listening, that they did a thing during the playoffs. Like they showed, because there was no freight elevator, they had to carry all the kegs up by hand. So 2 guys had to carry a keg all the way up because those were the cheap seats. Those were where the drinkers were. Those were the drunks were. So could you imagine? I mean, you had about literally 20 guys, all right, carrying 10 kegs up to the second balcony. And they'd go to every landing, put the bad boy down, be like, "Are you ready? All right." Or they switch sides. Okay, let me get my right hand this time. Go to the next landing. Switch sides. Carry with the left hand. It was one of the loudest places I've ever heard. The stadium was for a Blackhawks game, so it was the Blackhawks versus the Edmonton Oilers. Unfortunately, Wayne Gretzky didn't play that game, but I got to meet all the other guys, Yari Curry, Mark Messier, Grant Fuhr. My buddy, another Rita guy, worked the Players Gate, gate 3.5. I can tell you all the players. 3.5. I'm telling you, all the players I met. If you knew anyone from the late 80s, all right, it was 88, 87, 88. Any superstar that was in basketball or hockey, I met him because of my guy Jay. So, but I digress. It was just
loud.
It was so loud. So it was the Edmonton Oilers, and Wayne Gretzky gets a rebound and goes through all 5 Oilers, and he backhands it, beats Grant Fuhr to the stick side, to his right side.
You mean Savard? You said
Denny,
Savard?
yeah, Denny. Okay. Yeah, Savard. Beats Grant Fuhr to the stick side, to his right side, top shelf where your mama puts the peanut butter. And that place went insane. And my guy Jay was really cool. He would always so I had 2 cousins. One of my cousins was a gangbanger on 26th Street who just loved sports. And a Mexican gangbanger loved hockey. I had no idea, but he got me into hockey when I was like 3. All right. So I would get him into games all the time. He happened to be at that game. That game was that after he scored, that stadium was so loud. I wanted to scream, see if I could hear myself. I screamed. I couldn't hear myself. That's how loud it was in the stadium because the noise just enveloped my scream. It was just like, could not hear myself scream. That's how crazy that was. So stadium
that's
amazing.
unbelievable.
The stories I got, because that was the last time the All-Star game was in Chicago before a couple years ago.
Right.
I got to watch that game. Did I tell you the Red Auerbach story?
No.
Yeah, I've heard the Red Auerbach story.
Yeah. All right. So Lance, I'm in the first. I'm in the main floor, not the actual ice, but in the stands, the first, the 100 level.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it was All-Star Saturday or if it was the game on Sunday. But anyway, this guy walks up up the ramp because you could smoke outside down in the concourse. This guy comes up smoking a cigar. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be a jagbag. I'll let him sit and smoke. He looks, I know who it is, but go ahead. And so after like 4 minutes, I'm like, all right, dude. Like, excuse me, sir. I said, you're not allowed to smoke inside the stadium. You need to go down to the office. He's like, you know who I am, son? I said, yes, I do, Mr. Auerbach. I know who you are. I said, however, I said, you're still not allowed to smoke here. Go get your manager, your supervisor. I said, okay, no problem, sir. So I went and got my supervisor, Dave, and I was like, Dave, I got Red Auerbach over here smoking a cigar or anything. I gave him a couple minutes. I asked him to go down. He's like, he didn't want to go. So Dave came, talked to him, and he said something to Dave, and Dave's like, oh, it's okay, let him go. So Dave walked down. Red Auerbach stood there for another couple more minutes, and then walked back down the little ramp. And I was, you know who I am? I know who you are, Mr. Auerbach. I know who you are.
Sean, I know who he is. That man a billionaire. He'd have been able to smoke.
I know Sean running.
We could have had our funding for Sports Zone Chicago, and Sean messing it up with a man smoking a cigar.
Certain people you just don't bother.
Right. What's wrong with you, Sean?
Also, so for the game, and I don't remember again if it's the same day or not. For the game, you know who I had in my section? Thomas Hitman Hearns was in my section.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Hitman, did he have his curl? Was his curl juicy?
No. He was bald at that point. No, he wasn't bald. He didn't have a curl though. So if you look, so what's funny is if you remember when Michael did the dunk from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Remember he walked all to the other end of the court. Everyone's like, "Whoa, no, Mike's going the other end of the court." He walks out. He kind of moves the cameraman out of bounds in an area. So I was literally right. I would have been like where the block is, on the opposite side of where he did the dunk. So he had to run, right across from me. So one of my classmates, name is Scott Rokita, he was kitty corner from me. So he's immortalized in every single picture of Mike dunking. He's immortalized because you see him and you see that what was really funny is they didn't want us to have cameras, obviously, while you're working. Right. So they got one of the guys. It was actually the dude I talked to with Red Auerbach. They got him. He got his white hat. He's got a camera. Dude, the stadium was just insane, man. It was awesome. I missed it. Snuck into game 2 of the NBA Finals in '91, where Michael did the move where he comes up. It was a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. It was. We were actually walking around. Obviously, we didn't have tickets, so we were walking around the first balcony. You were right by the organ. If you remember the organ, it was on one side, and that's where he did the move. And me and my guy Billy D, rest in peace. We looked at each other. We're like, oh no! We're high fiving. There's like 4 of us. My buddy's dad was a cop, and he dropped some kind of stuff, and I don't know, got 4 of us in. We're high fiving and screaming like fools when Michael did that move. So it was right in front of us, right down in front of us. Because I said, we're on the first balcony. It was coming toward the organ. So
apparently I missed the Chicago Stadium because everybody was sneaking into the damn games except me. I was just happy to see the Spinners.
3.5.
And then another really funny thing, the same guy, the guy whose dad was a cop. So when they were building the United Center, we snuck in the United Center. So we were in there, and but this dude had no fear. So he called me. He's like, dude, make sure you wear slacks and a polo. The guy goes, just wear slacks and a polo, because I was in college at this point. This is after '93, so we're talking '93, '94, where so I'm out of college. I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, this way we look like construction workers, like, you know, like you're with the construction company, all right, and you're with the architects or something. So I shit you not. So we found a door that was open. Crazy. Found a door that was open. We're walking in on the main concourse, and we're going where we see where one of the concession stands is going to be. We obviously that we have an idea of what that's going to be.
Uh-huh.
Dude, there are 2 construction hats there. Dude, we put those bad boys on. We were walking through the whole thing, and every time that someone kind of walked by my guy would be like, so right here, what we're planning to do. Dude, I was like, oh yeah, well that makes a lot of sense. Now I like that idea. And they go, and we'd start laughing, and we keep going. It happened like 3 times when we were in there. We were in there for about 45 minutes. We ended up going all the way to the top where the suites are. First of all, why the hell have the suites all the way up there? I have no idea. But we were up top in the suites, and it was open, so it didn't have anything. Like if you wanted to jump and kill yourself, you could have. Like it was like, and I'm afraid of heights. So I was towing over, like, okay, I'm good. That's all I need. I'm good. I was good. So I had plenty of stories, man. That's what I'm telling you. I got to write a book. Man. It was crazy.
Nuts, man. Oh my God! All right, Lance Irvin and Sean Sierra sneaking into Chicago Stadium in the United States.
I mean, I allegedly snuck in to the stadium.
Don't worry, statute of limitations is over.
Exactly.
Okay, then I did that shit.
You're in the clear. Oh, so all right, 7:00. We have Bears coming up in about 15 minutes, Lance. So let's talk a little bit. Bears Patriots tonight, Monday Night Football, kickoff in another 15 minutes. The Bears out there on the East Coast getting ready to go against Bill Belichick. Patriots getting their starting quarterback back tonight for tonight's game. What are you looking for in this game from your Bears?
One thing, Jay, I've been talking about lately, like averaging 15 points a game, 30th in the NFL in scoring. Who are you going to beat averaging 15 points a game, especially playing against the Patriots defense that's been stingy over their 2-game winning streak? They went from 1-2, whatever. Now they 3-3, Jay. So, and they bring Mac Jones back. So with that being said, we have to do what we do well, which is run the football. We got to have Khalil Herbert has to be good this day. And like I mentioned to you earlier, like Robert Quinn cannot have 1 sack for the year and something like 5 pressures. I mean, we're in game 7. He has to step it up a little bit. Then I think, Jay, Justin Fields has to be able to find some receivers. Like, we don't have a receiver, Jay, in yards in the top 50 in the NFL. Somebody from the receiving corps has to step up. So first we have to run a ball. Fields have to be able to throw it and find somebody open. And Robert Quinn has to have a good game, or we're going to be in trouble tonight.
Interesting. Here's what I will say. I think the Bears have to go back to doing what the hell I said they need to do at the beginning of the year, just run the ball. I think what happened was everybody got caught up on, but we got to develop Justin Fields. We do. I don't see that happening in the first part of this season. Watch the young man when you get to week 10, week 11. But I think they were trying to throw the ball too much with him because people got in their ear a little bit. They're going to win games. It's going to be ugly. And Bears fans have to accept that. It's okay if you run the ball for 200 yards a game, especially if you're winning. But they ran the ball for 200 yards a game that last game and still lost. And I was like, that means you should have ran it for 300.
I mean, Jay, exactly. I think Herbert averaging 6.4 yards a carry, Fields averaging something like 5.2. I agree with you. Run it, because we're like 25th in passing.
Run the ball, keep the other team's offense off the field, play solid defense, don't commit stupid penalties. That's the Bears' philosophy of winning games. That's what it should be. Just stick with it. It ain't going to be exciting. It ain't going to be fun. It may be flat out boring. But this is what you have right now because he doesn't have the receivers to throw to, for one. 2, he's still struggling with reading defenses and coverages, and he's got to work on his accuracy. So don't put him in a position to lose the game. You got to in other words, use the pass so that people don't stack up the run against you. Stack up the defense on the run. That's what I would do.
I mean, Jay, Fields has been sacked 23 times this year.
That's a problem
He's
too.
been sacked second most. I think Joe Burrows is up there. He's been hit 23 times. So does he have enough time to sit in the pocket? No. So what do? You have to run it. You have to keep him off balance. And truthfully, I said this last year, Jay, and I said it at the start of the year, and I'm saying it again. I'm worried about him getting his head knocked off.
Yep.
I say this every time, Jay. He's been sacked 23 times. That's that Cam Newton stuff I was telling you about. That's what I'm worried about. So with that being said, I mean, the line I talk about the offensive line all the time. Those guys, Cody Whitehair and those guys. I don't know, but one thing, Jay, we don't have a threat at the wide receiver spot, so that's killing you. At least I don't think so. But we're seeing about 13 minutes because I'm gonna go watch my Bears. My Bears. I'm not a fair weather fan like my cousin, and the Miami Heat the Miami Dolphins that played Tua last night.
Yes,
Which
I was
you
going
and
to
I
talk
both
about that,
know.
by the way.
Go ahead. You and I both know.
No, I'm going to stick on the Bears right now. I'm going to stick on the
No,
Bears
but
right now.
Jay, if we can't run, we in trouble. We should run it. Like you said, I do agree with you when you said you ran for 200, well, running for 300 and see what you get.
Just keep running. They should just run.
That's the
Just
best
run.
part of our offense.
Everybody except Justin Fields should be running. And there are going to be times when Justin has to run, but I need him to slide. I don't need him taking these big time hits because that ain't going to go well if you keep doing that, man. These are professional NFL players. I was explaining that to my wife the other day. We were watching the Texas A&M game. It's a difference between college football and pro football. The difference is them dudes playing pro is some grown ass men. Them dudes strong, man. Them college players are big, but they ain't strong. They ain't got their mature man muscles yet. You going against a mid-20, young 30-year-old grown-ass men, they solid, man. They'll break your ass.
If he thinks next week he's going to run over Michael Parsons on that Cowboy defensive line or defensive players, good luck. He needs to slide. If he doesn't slide next week, it's going to be a problem.
I agree. So with that said, I know this is going to sound crazy to you guys, but I got the Bears winning this game tonight. On the road on a Monday night, I got the Bears winning this game tonight. And here's why. I think they're going to get a couple of turnovers. I think they're going to play smart. I think Eberflus is now got a few games under his belt, and he's saying, okay, I'm just going to do this my way. They're going to criticize me no matter what. So I'm just going to do what I need to do, which I know is to run the ball, play solid defense, and go from there. So we're going to see.
Now,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Bears are going to win this game.
You do know, like Bill Belichick is like 6-1 against the Bears and 7-1. Something crazy. I'm just pointing that out to you.
I understand it.
Okay, and you do know that our defense is going to be on the field a lot tonight, don't you?
If we are out there throwing the ball, but if they run the ball, like I just said, I think the Bears are going to upset the Patriots. And here's the proof, Lance Irvin. We talk about the NFL. If you looked at everybody's record, Green Bay is 3-4 for the love of God. They lost to Washington yesterday.
Oh, Green Bay has been stinking up the field too. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's the NFL, man. It's Any Given Sunday. A great movie, by the way. Still got to watch it with my wife. But
yeah, you also owe me like, I want to say you like 0 for 3 to me in bets. I still haven't got my heroes in. I'm not gonna pull against my Bears, but hopefully it'll be a close, low scoring game. But man, Jay, can we get 28 one time?
No, that's not you. See, you keep saying this. That's what I'm telling you. You need to win the game 13.
Jay,
need to win game 17-14. That's who the Bears are. You ain't gonna get no explosive offense, man. Y'all better kick a bunch of field goals, play some defense, and run the damn ball.
Jay, we're 31st in the league in scoring. The 30th. That 15.2 is doing nothing for us right now.
But got to hold the other team.
We'll see. got hold of him. Okay, well, the score was 12-7 the other week or something like
There
that.
you go.
We'll
So
see.
we shall see. We shall see. So I'm gonna go with the Bears. And since you did bring it up, yes, let's talk about our guy Tua, who still ain't learned his damn lesson, Lance Irvin.
I couldn't believe what y'all were saying on the text message threads last night.
Watching
I thought y'all were joking.
I'm watching the game last night. I didn't want Tua playing. I told you I think the man needed to retire. We found out he is actually married.
Is he?
He's married. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He got married. He got married in secret in August. So he got married in August. So he just only been married 2 months. Because that was what we were saying. Man, if he was married, his wife wouldn't tell him, don't go out there. He went out there, said he's gonna change his style of running. And what did he do? He ran, took on the defender, put his head down, tried to run him over. I like, see, this boy got death wish.
He tried to run him over.
He tried to run him over.
He didn't slide.
He got no damn. No, he ain't slide. Put his head down, tried to run down. Like, this boy, he gonna die. He ain't got no damn sense.
Hey, Jay.
We won the game. I was happy. Our coach is still an idiot. You're supposed to kick a field goal, go up 2 scores. He tried to go for it, but we still won the game. I love Tua as a player. He makes the offense exciting, but this boy ain't wrapped too tight, man. He gonna get himself killed out there.
Jay, I on that note, I don't have, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, when the text message thread was going off, I was doing a little homework. I did just like this. Said they joking. I go downstairs, turn on the TV. I see him out there. I said, no, I'm turning this thing off because he shouldn't be out there. But they cleared him once again. So
they cleared him. He went out there. So there goes the lawsuit if he was gonna file it. So
see, we said, Jay, y'all said he should, and I said last week, y'all know we all said he should, but I was like, he won't.
Yep.
No way.
I said he was gonna go out there.
Yeah. No way.
So he's going out there. So we'll just pray for Tua. I'll pray for my Dolphins. And just Terry Bridgewater, just stay on the roster because you're probably going to be in about 2 games. So we shall see. We shall see. But hey, that is our show for this Monday evening, an abbreviated edition of What's Up, Cuz. We thank you for joining us. And now we're getting ready to watch the Bears upset the Patriots because I'm going to speak it into existence. And then I'm going to come back here next week and talk.
Shout out for the Bears. Jay, how you going to send us out? Can you send us out in Spanish? Send us out in Spanish. You didn't practice that.
Hasta la vista. I'm Jason Palmer. Oh, my cousin Lance Irvin.
Easy there, Arnold. You should have said hasta la vista, baby.
I could have just said ciao. I could have said ciao.
Come on.
So we'll see y'all next Monday night. Next lunes noches.
For the whole.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. march on till victory.